Welcome to the Stephanie. Oh, forgive me for that. That was my song. Hold on, let me get it together. How y'all doing this evening? Let me get my technology right. Welcome to Sip and Stay with me. Hey y'all, how y'all doing tonight? Welcome to Sip and Say with Stephanie. I'm so excited to share a few things with you tonight. I literally have only 4 things that I want to share with you tonight. 2 of them, not such great news, but the other 2 I'm excited to share with you and talk with you about it and see what you think about what's going on. So look, how was your day today? How are you feeling right now? What's going on in your life? Add it to the live chat. Add it to the comment section for the recast. I always like to know how you are doing. Like, this is our wellness check, right? You know, how are you doing? How are you feeling? How is your heart? How are your emotions? What's going on with you? Like right now, I'm feeling pretty good. And in all transparency, I've been experiencing a little bit of pain in my body today. Just a little bit of pain. And so I've been working through that and been resting, and like I'm ready to go to bed right now. Like I say that almost every Thursday for the last few Thursdays, right? But I am so ready to go to bed right now. So once I finish the broadcast, I do need to clean up my kitchen because I ate before the broadcast. And so I'm going to clean up my kitchen, and then I'm just going to sit down and rest because I think my body just needs to rest. So a little bit of pain, but I am okay, you all. My pain is slowly subsiding, but it's still there. Like I could feel not necessarily pain right now, but discomfort. So those of you who know the words of prayer, pray for me that this pain will subside. I do have an appointment with my doctor in a few weeks. It was a previously planned appointment. So I'm definitely going to talk to her about what this could possibly be. I really think, you all, it's because I haven't been drinking enough water. Like I drink water all the time, but I really think it's because I haven't been drinking enough water. And so my bowels, Sip and Stay with Stephanie, are not flowing as well as I want them to right now, which is why my sip tonight is straight up water. I promise you, look, I promise you I'm not hiding anything in this blue glass. I'm drinking straight up water because I feel like I need to rehydrate. I think that's where some of my pain is coming from, because my body is used to me drinking water. Like that's all I drink. Like when I'm at home, I drink water. I don't keep juice at my house. I occasionally keep ginger ale at my house for like if I'm having a stomach ache or if I get sick in that way. But I got rid of my ginger ale. I think I got rid of all my ginger ale. Then I had a procedure done where I had to fast. So I had some ginger ale in the house for that. And so I don't keep soda in the house normally. Like I said, just special occasions for that ginger ale. But so I'm drinking water all the time, so my body is used to that. And I think because I have not been taking in as much water as I should be taking in, my body is feeling it. So I'm praying that that's all the pain is. But if it continues, then I'm definitely going to go to my doctor early, if at all possible. I'm going to try to avoid the emergency room, but definitely, you know, try to see if there's something more serious going on besides maybe dehydration. And since this is Sip and Say with Stephanie, I'm just going to say it, besides dehydration or constipation, just is what it is. Praise the Lord. I'd hardly ever toast, but let's toast to good health, peace, and prosperity. Ding. Hey, mama. Glad you're with us tonight. So what are y'all drinking? Yeah, I have planned to drink another flavor of my she-can, but I figured I better just, stick with my water tonight. So what are y'all drinking? What are y'all sipping on tonight? Water, soda, hot chocolate, tea, a little bit of wine, a little bit of beer, a spritzer, mimosa. Like, what are y'all sipping on tonight? Drop it in the chat so we'll know what we're drinking tonight. made me a cup of hot chocolate because I have some peppermint spoons that I wanted to use to stir in my hot chocolate. But I was like, no, let me just focus. So I had my sheet can on my mind. I had my hot chocolate on my mind. And I was just like, no, let me just focus on this water tonight. So that's what I'm sipping on tonight. So let's get right into some news. I know I asked you how you're feeling. I told you how I'm feeling. My heart is feeling good. My emotions are, I'm feeling good emotionally. I do have a few things that I'm working on and working through right now. I'm actually taking a wellness class, you all, that focuses on mindfulness and meditation, and which my meditation ends up being prayer. But meditation, mindfulness, being in touch with my body and my feelings, and I'm really loving taking this training. I've been able to apply some of the principles that I've learned on the road. So for my family knows this, some of my friends know this, but I used to be like a hellion on the road. Let's just say what it is. Just sip and say what's happening. A hellion on the road. I mean, I would not honk at people to get out of my way, but I would ride some bumpers for you to get out of my way. Like I was a hellion on the road. So God has been slowly delivering me from my pride. Let's just say what it is, from my pride on the road. And so I've gotten better over time. And so since I've started taking these classes, which I started at the start of March of this month, I've been practicing my mindfulness techniques and strategies on the road so that I can stay calm while I'm on the road and not, try to, when I say quote unquote, run people off the road. And so y'all, look, let me tell y'all what happened to me. I didn't even tell my coworkers when I got to work because I was so shocked by it, but God is good. His angels, I pray every morning, either before I go to work, most times, and some days I don't pray before I go to work as far as my protection, so I'll pray in the car. And so sometimes I do both. Sometimes I'm praying when I'm getting ready for protection, and I do it in the car as well. So I do that anyway. God, protect me, let me get to work safely, protect my car from mechanical failure, from issues from my tires. Like I just try to cover everything. And so I was on the road, and there was the ramp. So there were two cars that came off the ramp. Well, there was a 18-wheeler up a little ahead, and I was here. Nobody was behind me. The two cars were coming off the ramp. So they're on the 18-wheeler, and I'm coming up, right? So there was a vehicle that like jumps directly. He could have gotten over before I got close to him, but he decided to wait until I got right up on almost on his bumper, and he got over. So he or she, the car got over, and I had to kind of slam on my brakes a little bit. And so I just gently went around him, and the other car had already moved up. I gently went around him and got in front of him, and I just kept it moving. I don't think the driver liked that. So, I mean, he chased me down. And so there was a truck. I don't know if it was the same truck or a different truck, but there was a truck. I think it was a different truck. Or either the same truck, but anyway, it was must have been two trucks because he went around the truck. No, it wasn't a truck. This was actually a truck with a trailer on it. It wasn't an 18-wheeler. This was a truck with a trailer on it. For some reason, he kind of waited until I got up close, and then he decided to get over. So I slowed down, no big deal. So the vehicle behind me that was trying to chase me down, he was trying to get around me. So the car that got off the ramp with him, I know this is a long story, right? We were kind of close. So he's trying to get in between me and this other car. Y'all, he ran me off the road. Like he was coming in, I mean, like we were just like this. He was coming over my lane. So he ran me off the road. And if there would have been a railing there, y'all, there was a railing in the middle of between the two highways, but not directly like on the highway. If there was a railing there, I would have gotten an accident. Like I would have damaged my car and the airbag would have come on. It would have been a hard hit. And so the truck that with the trailer in front, I think he saw what was going on. So he immediately got over so that I can get by. So I was able to get by, but that truck, like he was right. It wasn't a truck, but the vehicle was right in the lane with me. And so I moved on up, and again, he's trying to run me down. So I was like, well, let me just get on over out of his way. He got right behind me. And so I think he just wanted to stay on my bumper because I'm trying to get out of your way. But then I get over and you're right behind me again. So it was really interesting. And y'all, I kept my cool. I said all that to say I really kept my cool. Like I didn't fuss at him. I don't cuss, but I can say something in my mind. And so I didn't even get upset with him. I'm just like, I don't even think I said Jesus or anything. I'm just trying to control my car so that I won't go crazy like as I'm off the road. And so I was able to, go on and get to work safely and everything. But the the thing that I acknowledged about myself, that I celebrated, is that I stayed calm. Like, I didn't fuss. I didn't get up. I didn't get mad at him. I was just really calm, cool, and collected. Y'all, this class I'm taking is working. I'm telling y'all, for those who know me, the class is working. And so it was just really beautiful to me. And so I celebrated myself for just staying calm in the face of that. Because see, what could have happened was he eventually got off the ramp. Like, he didn't even go, he or she, I don't know who was driving, because I didn't look over to try to figure it out. I was just trying to keep my car from going even further off the road. And so they ended up getting off the ramp a little ways up. So I don't know if they were in a hurry. I really don't know what was going on with the individual in the car. I have never been ran. In my 40 plus years, I have never, I was this week. And so I thank God for keeping me safe. I thank God that his angels protected me. And I thank God that I stayed calm and cool. If I would have been in my other self, well, I won't say that. I'm going to just let that go. So God is good, and I thank God for protecting that car. Like, we were like centimeters, not inches, centimeters away from me. Like, he could have easily rammed into my car, and I would have went like down. Like, it wasn't a slope or anything, but you know how the grass is in the middle on a highway, like on the freeway, and so there's like the thin rail there, like right in the middle where the dip is. I definitely, he totally could have smashed my car and went on about his way. He had a in the front, and so I don't know, but God is good. God protected me. God kept me, and he not only kept me safe, but he kept me calm. Hallelujah. So practicing mindfulness and yoga and wellness and being in touch with your emotions and your feelings, it is working for me, and I thank God for it. And for those of you, okay, I'm not gonna go there, and I'm gonna just let that be. Okay, so let me get into the news. Oh, okay. So my aunt is up here. She said she's sipping on water. My mom said she's sipping on a bottle of water. She said it's 3/2 full. Thank you for sharing. I don't know why he was chasing me. I think he got mad at me because what I found, because I have to take the highway. I don't have to take the highway, but that's how I get this quickest way for me to get to work is taking the highway. I think he got upset with me because I went around him. Like, I don't think and I say it's a he just because I don't know if it was a man or woman. Even when he was that close to me, he or she, I didn't look over to see who was driving. I was just trying to stay on the road as not to, whatever. But I think the driver was upset because I went around, even though he jumped in front of me and I had to slam on my brakes to keep from ramming into him. I was able to up a little bit, and I went around him, and I safely went around him. Like, I didn't cut him off. I safely went around him, and I was scooting up the road. Because if I go around a car, I just try to scoot up because I don't want them to have anything. And when he saw me go around him and I just took off, he took off right behind me. So I think he got upset because I got in front of him, but he forgot that he jumped in front of me. Anywho, I think that's what it was. He was just mad. And some people, what I found is some people want to control you on the road. Maybe they don't have any other control. They want to control folk on the road. Like, people will jump in front of me and start going slow. And I'm just like, okay, let me practice my mindfulness, right? So anyway, so I think that's what it was. But God is good, and I'm thankful for it. So let me get into this news. So I want to talk about this one first because I just want to hit it and just get it out of the way. So I'm sure you all have heard about Jussie Smollett. He was sentenced to 100 days. He is a star of Empire, also the brother of Jussie Smollett, who I really enjoy her acting. I've never seen Empire a day of my life, but it was a popular show on Fox. I don't think it's on any longer. I think they've already had their final season, but it starred Taraji P. Henson and I can't think of the gentleman's name. Oh, I see his face. Okay, anyway, I can't think of his name right now, but maybe it'll come to me, but it stars them. And so Jussie Smollett, he was sentenced to 150 days in jail and 30 days of probation for lying to the police about a homophobic and racist attack. So he was found guilty on 6 counts of felony disorderly conduct. Okay. The attack, I didn't write down the date the attack happened, but he accused 2 men of pouring bleach on him and placing a noose around his neck, which was the homophobic and racist attack that he said happened to him. there were two brothers that were initially charged with this incident, but they were later released, and then suspicion turned to Jussie. So he went on trial. They found him guilty. He did start serving his time in jail, but he is currently out of jail while the appeal process is happening. So he goes to jail. He's found guilty, 6 counts of felony disorderly conduct, out of jail awaiting the appeals process. He received 150 days in jail, 30 months, of probation for lying. So, when I was listening to this news report as I was getting ready for work, and then I listened to it like maybe a day or two later after I got home in the evening, so my mind immediately went to January 6th, 2021, when how many people was over 400 people stormed the Capitol. And I'm just like, okay. So yes, some of them have been arrested. I got the statistics here, 400 of people. It was more than 400 people that stormed the Capitol. I didn't get that exact number, but more than 400 people have been charged with federal crimes. 150 have been found guilty. So all of those people who stormed the Capitol, which was a domestic terrorist attack, let's just call it what it is. It was a domestic terrorist attack, but not all of them served time in jail for that domestic terrorist attack, but yet you have a young man that's accused of lying. I don't know if the attack really happened to him. The two brothers were accused of attacking Jussie Smollett. They said they didn't. Jussie Smollett said they did. It was word against word. So I don't know if that incident really happened, and if it did happen. So the brother said that Jussie Smollett paid them to do it so that he can gain greater notoriety. I can't say one way or another. I wasn't there. Only the Lord knows, and them, what happened. But it just made me think about he's spending jail time for lying, but we have domestic terrorists on U.S. soil that have served no time for attacking our Congress people, storming the Capitol, attacking Congress people, police officers, like the Capitol police officers. So I know the two incidents are unrelated because you have this one individual making this accusation, and then you have this federal crime, but it still made me think about all of these mainly white folk storming the Capitol, and then you got this black man in jail for lying. Like, it don't add up. And I even thought about the countless number of Black boys that have been murdered with police not being held accountable. Standing your ground, killing folks for community leaders like George Zimmerman, standing your ground, killing Trayvon Martin, and you found not guilty. Like, it's just, I know it's supposed to be called the justice system. Our injustice system is really, it's doing what it was set up to do. It is doing what it was set up to do, and that was to illegally oppress Black and brown people. Let's just say what it's to legally oppress Black and brown people. So anyway, again, Jussie Smollett, he is currently free while he's awaiting the process. So getting back to this January 6th incident with these domestic terrorists, there were 87 people charged with misdemeanors, 87 accused of a misdemeanor sentence, but only 80 of the 87 was charged with a misdemeanor. That ain't nothing. Of those 87, 38 of them received jail time. So 38 of 87. So only 51 of them, no, I didn't say that right. Let me do my math in my head at 16. Oh Lord, I'm gonna have to do it on the paper. Hold on, y'all. Y'all don't talk about me because I can't do the math in my head. So 79 of them, that's not right. 39 of them, Lord have mercy, help me, y'all. 49 of them. It's okay, I am a teacher, and it's okay that I didn't get this right away. 49 of them being any type of time. I'm just tripping off that, y'all. This difference was 70. I'm tripping off that. So the average prison sentence for those who were incarcerated was 45 days. Jussie Smollett got 150 days for lying. They get an average of 45 days in prison for storming the doggone Capitol and becoming domestic terrorists. I'm gonna let that alone. I mean, what do y'all think about it? Do you think I'm making an unfair comparison between these two cases? I think it's very fair how one person can get a heavier sentence and other people of a different hue get a lighter sentence. You know what? When I was on the way home today, I was, just thinking, I'm always thinking, always praying, always what my mind is going wherever. But as I was thinking about this Jussie Smollett case, it also made me think about crack cocaine and how crack cocaine carried, for those who were caught selling, distributing, making crack cocaine, their sentences were higher than those who, in most cases, higher than those who were, selling, distributing just cocaine. Cocaine is more potent than crack cocaine. Crack cocaine is a lesser version of cocaine. A lot of Black people smoked crack cocaine because it was cheaper, where a lot of white folks or rich folk smoked cocaine or took cocaine, sniffed cocaine because it was, it was pure, so they could afford it. And so, again, justice system, injustice system is set up to do what it was meant to do, and that is oppress Black and brown people. So there are people, I mean, even marijuana charges are a lot heavier than what I think they should be. Should you be smoking any kind of drug? No, but you know what? Marijuana is legal in some states. Y'all do what y'all got to do. You an adult, make your own choices. But as far as the sentencing for crimes that are committed by Black people, like historically Black people, crack cocaine, they carried a heavier sentence. And so I thought about that too. I'm just like, again, our injustice system is doing exactly what it was set up to do. Criminalize our Black and brown people, especially our Black and brown boys. So y'all, parents, talk to your children, educate your children about being a Black boy, a Black girl. Train them up in the way that they should go. Teach them to be respectful, but also teach them their rights, y'all. Teach them the Constitution of the United States. Teach them their legal rights. So if they at 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, when they start driving, get stopped by a police officer in their vehicle, they'll know how to conduct themselves and they'll know their rights. If they're walking up the street in a group and a police stop them, saying, where y'all going, what y'all doing? Teach them so they know that their rights. If the police officer stops them, they can keep walking. They do not have to stop just because he is invading on their rights. They do not have to stop. They can keep going, especially if they're just walking up the street and there's no crime committed. They do not have to stop at the request of that police officer. Teach them the law so that they'll know, again, how to conduct themselves when they become teenagers and young adults and adults in life. Know the law yourself and teach them. They don't. Police do not have a right to stop you unless they suspect you are committing a crime. So y'all better know the law, for yourself and for your children. So parents, teach your children. Don't just teach them biblical principles. Don't just teach them to respect police officers and respect adults and respect the law. Teach them what the law is, so that they will know their rights as a citizen of the United States of America. Okay? All right, I'm gonna let that go. I'm done with that. I want to go right into the second thing that I really don't want to talk about, but I am, because it's going our world. So we understand that this is a fourth week that Russia has invaded Ukraine. I had to do some research because I couldn't quite understand why Russia decided to attack Ukraine, and then why now. And so I remember mentioning a little bit at our last Sip and Say. So Putin has said all sorts of things as to why he has given the okay for his military to invade Ukraine. But what it all boils down to is that Ukraine is controlled by certain parts of Russia. Ukraine wants to be an independent state, and they ultimately want to join NATO, which I'll tell you what NATO is if you don't know. They ultimately want to be that independent state, join NATO, so that they can be in alliance with other countries, so that they can be in partnership with protections and treaty talks and all of this. that NATO provides for them. And so that is one of the main reasons, I believe, in my research, what I believe is one of the main reasons why Russia has evaded Ukraine. And then I got to doing research. Russia, I didn't write the year down, and I'm going by my memory, but I think it was in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. If I have this wrong, I'll put it in the description, where Russia attacked Syria. They were not reprimanded for attacking Syria. I feel like when countries are allowed to attack other countries without consequences from other countries, they're going to do it again. They're going to do it again. And so, Syria, during the time of Assad, and they were not reprimanded. So, you have this dictatorship like leadership in Russia thinking he can do what he wants to do, so he invades Ukraine. I didn't write down how many lives have been lost, but there have been millions of refugees that have fled to other countries. Poland is one of the countries that they are fleeing to. And I mean, I know you've seen the pictures, you've seen the videos, you've seen the devastation that's going on in Ukraine. I have to salute the Ukrainian people are fighting for their country. They are fighting hard to maintain their, control of their country, and so they can be like fully an independent, democratic country. And so, again, we're in our 4th week. Our president has sent aid to the Ukrainian people. I'm going to get into that in just a minute, but I want to tell you what NATO is, just in case you don't know. So it's NATO, NATO stands for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, also known as the North Atlantic Alliance. It's a combining of 30 countries that are united basically for military alliance. So one country, is being attacked, or there's talks of them being attacked, then the NATO leaders can come together, hopefully have some negotiations, have some talks, try to, reach a peace treaty so that war will not take place. Now, we know what the Bible says, that there will be wars and rumors of war. So this is a Bible fulfilling itself, but man, it's still like, I feel really sad for the people of Ukraine, for the children, for the women, for the soldiers that are fighting to protect their country. I mean, they're doing right. They're doing what they know to do. They're doing what they've been trained to do. But seeing so much devastation is heartbreaking. It really is. It is heartbreaking. And so, getting back to NATO, NATO currently has 30 members. There are 28 European countries and 2 North American countries. In the United States of America, we are part of NATO. We were actually one of the 12 founding members of the NATO alliance. It was formed in 1949, again, to provide some military alliance, trying to keep peace in the world. It's just trying to keep peace in the world. Some of the author members have Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Those were the 12 founding members. And then we also have Greece, Turkey, Germany, Spain, Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, Bulgaria, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Albania, Croatia, Montenegro, and North Macedonia. Those are all 30 countries that are a part of the NATO alliance, or the North Atlantic Alliance. So I don't know all of the work that NATO has done over the years, but I do appreciate this alliance in order to keep peace, or in attempts to keep peace in our world. Let me get my words right, in our world. Russia, I don't know what Putin's resistance is to NATO. The spirit of even in leadership. Arrogance works even in leadership. I feel like, I don't know this man. I have prayed for this man, and I feel like there's just this spirit of arrogance and pride that he operates in, and that arrogance and pride will not allow him to join with other countries for the purpose of peace. And so we have this war in Ukraine, which in a lot of ways it has driven up our gas prices. I'm going to fill up in the morning, so I'll see like what gas prices. I think the last time I filled up it was I think it was 408 or 411, somewhere around there. So we pray for relief. Y'all, you know what? I, like other Americans might be thinking, I'm like, I have already been thinking about getting me an electric car. Like, it's something I've been thinking about over the last few years. I've even mentioned it on one of Sip and Say with Stephanie that I'm going to do some research to get it. So my next car very well might be an electric car, not necessarily because of this, but because I was already thinking about this. And so we'll see what happens. So to give you information about President Biden, on yesterday, he announced an additional $800 million in security assistance to the Ukrainian. So this gives a total of $2 billion that Biden has given to the Ukrainians since he became president. All right. Some of the 800 million assistance package that he just signed into, or that he just announced, rather, it's not a anyway, the new 800 million assistance package, let me just read it how it's written, includes a whole lot of things, and I'm not going to go over every single one of them because I got like this half a page and some on the other side. So I'll just tell you a few things. It's giving them body armor, helmets, small arms, rounds or ammunitions, grenade launchers, mortar rounds, rifles, pistols, machine guns, shotguns, Stinger anti-aircraft systems, patrol boats. There's counter artillery and counter unmanned aerial system tracking radars, which is good, trying to, make sure that they'll know when some of the attacks are coming. Machine guns, I said those. The Humvee, what we call the Humvees, the high mobility multi-purpose wheeled vehicles, and some other vehicles. So some communication and electronic devices. So those are some of the aid that President Biden is providing to the Ukrainians. So y'all, I'm gonna just be honest. I'm gonna be very real and very transparent here. As soon as I heard about this or was reading about this $800 million, my mind, and then the $2 million, my mind immediately went to the homeless. It immediately went to those families with food insecurities. It immediately went to our education system. Like, my mind went to so many other ways this $800 million and this $2 million can be spent. Like, it really, just full transparency. That's exactly where my mind went to: the homeless, the hungry, our education system. But you know what? It is good for us to help our neighbors. It's good for us to support those who are in need. And so I know the Ukrainians, they need this help, they need support. And so I'm thankful that the United States is helping them. There are other countries that are helping the Ukrainians as well. And so thank you, President Biden, for providing this aid. Thank you to all of the countries that are providing support to the Ukrainians as they are fighting for their democracy, as they are fighting to be an independent, as they're fighting against being overtaken by the dictatorship-like rule of Vladimir Putin. All right, and I think that's all I want to say about that. I want us to just, keep the Ukrainian people in prayer. If you have the resources to give aid to the Ukrainian people, I do not have an organization that I will promote to you during Sip and Say with Stephanie. I would encourage you, I have one, but I would encourage you to do your research, find the nonprofit organization that you feel would best suit you supporting the Ukrainians, whether that's finances or some organizations may be taking resources like non-perishable foods or clothes or whatever. I'm not quite sure. Just do some research on your own. If you're able to give, I encourage you to give to support the displaced families in Ukraine. All right. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. Let's continue to keep the Ukrainian people in our prayers. I cannot recall the Ukrainian president's name right now. I see his face and I see letters in his name, but I don't have his full name. But he did an interview with Lester Holt from NBC News. I don't know if it was, I think it was this morning, it could have been yesterday. I did not have an opportunity to listen to the interview, but I am going to go back and listen to it because I'm curious, to hear what he has to say. The president of Ukraine has videos and talking about, receiving help and then fighting for their country. And he did mention with Lester Holt, well, I don't want to say that on the air. So anyway, y'all listen to the recording for yourself, okay? And get the information for yourself. And I'm also reading the chat when Terrence Howard, his name, right? Terrence Howard is the star that plays with Taraji P. Henson in Empire, that work, because Empire is no longer on the air. You can get some reruns of Empire, but it was Terrence Howard. So thank you for my aunt. Thank you to my aunt for that. Cannot get my words right. Let me take a sip. I totally agree with that. I'm reading a comment from my mom. She said, one with that since the Russian threat has been against Ukraine, the other countries should have been aiding them before now. Now, I know that's true because I don't know what countries have been helping Ukraine because Russia has been threatening Ukraine even before now. Like this is like a threat against Ukraine from Russia is nothing new. Russia just decided to invade, Ukraine. Not to say that they haven't before, because I don't know the history about the Ukrainian and the Russian conflict. Like I know that there was a conflict that came about when there was a president over Ukraine. I don't remember what year it was, maybe 2014, 2015, 2016, somewhere around in there. I do remember mentioning this at a previous Sip and Say, but it was a president that was over Ukraine that was a, not an advocate, but was a, what word do I want to use? Was an ally to President Putin. And so the Ukrainian people, they did not like that, so they overthrew him. The Ukrainians got together and they booted his hind parts out of office. And Putin has, in my opinion, the Ukrainian people ever since, because again, the Ukrainian people, they don't want a dictatorship, they want a democracy. They want to be able to vote for their president and for the other leaders in their country. They want a democracy. They want a total democracy in which they are not currently. I'm trying to break free from Russia because again, Russia controls certain parts of Ukraine. But they want to be totally free from Russia, and Russia seems not to want to let them go. Y'all, I don't understand why. Like, I don't understand why leaders want to control other countries. Like, Russia is a large country. I don't understand why Putin can't just be happy running the country that he's already over. I don't know why he wants to take over other countries and try to oppress them, because in his overtaking them, he would be oppressing them because the Ukrainian people do not want a dictatorship. They want to be a democratic, independent country. And so again, I don't know. All I can say is pride and it's arrogance. That's just what it is. And so, so I don't know what countries have provided aid to the Ukrainians in the past. I don't have that research because I didn't do it, but I encourage you to look it up for yourself so that you can see the history of conflict, between the Ukrainian people and Russia. Okay. All right. So I had a few more facts about NATO, but I guess I'll leave it there. There's several partnerships that NATO has with other alliances around the world, but I don't necessarily have to share that information, but maybe I'll put the link in the description. I'm not sure yet, but it's some good information. I will put the NATO link in the description in case you want to do some research for yourself about this alliance, what they do and how they partner together to promote as best they can peace around the world. All right, so let me get into my next news story. So let me just check the chat. Yeah, I agree. The leaders of countries want to control people or control other countries just individual people want to control individual people. I have enough trying to keep control over myself. I'm a handful by myself. I do good to keep my own thoughts in check, to keep my own emotions in check, to keep my own heart in check, to make sure I'm living out my Christian principles, like making sure I'm treating people right, that I'm doing to others as the Lord would, as I would have them do unto me, loving my neighbor as myself. Like I got enough. Taking care of me is a full-time job. Why would I want to try to take care of somebody else too by controlling over them? Like that's just, to me, that's just too much work. Trying to control over somebody else is too much work. It's enough work happening right here. That's just how I feel about it. It just, that's how I feel about it. So I agree, just like individual people want to control over individual people, countries want to control over countries. And I'm gonna let that be. So let me get into my third story. Let me make sure I have my notes that I want for my third story. So you all know that one campaign promise that President Joe Biden made was that he would nominate a Black woman to the United States Supreme Court if an opening became available, if a vacancy became available. Well, who's retiring? Hold on, let me look for his name, y'all, because I did write it down, the young man. I'm gonna call him a young, even though he's a seasoned man, I'm gonna call him a young man. Justice Stephen Breyer is retiring. Congratulations, Justice Breyer, on your retirement, but he is retiring. So there will be a vacancy open in the Supreme Court of the United States, and Mrs. or Judge Kentanji Jackson has been nominated to fill this vacancy. So Ketanji Anvika Brown Jackson is her full name. So I'm going to share a little bit about her. I got so many notes about her. I'm trying to stitch through it. So I fell in love with her. Her parents were teachers. They're former teachers. So shout out to all my educators holding it down during this pandemic. I know you are tired. You've been working hard. It's been 5.5, but shout out to you. You're doing great. Keep doing what you're doing. You are amazing. You are impacting the lives of your children. So hang in there. We got a few more months, so hang in there. So Ketanji Brown, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, her educators. And so her dad decided to go to law school. So he went to law school and he eventually became the lawyer for the Miami-Dade public school system. Or it didn't say public school, just say the Miami-Dade school system. So I'm assuming it was a public schools. Her mom eventually became a principal in the same school system. And I should say her dad was a chief attorney of the Miami-Dade school system. So she would be with her dad as he was studying to become a lawyer, which I think is what influenced her to become a lawyer as well. So Miss Kentanji, I'm gonna say Miss, she's a judge, Judge Kentanji Brown. She was a high achiever throughout her childhood. She was a speech and debate star. She actually was a national debate champion. In her high school, she was actually elected, quote unquote, the mayor of Palmetto Junior High, and she was a student body president. She was also voted most likely to succeed by her class. That's all right. So when Judge Brown was Judge Brown Jackson, when she was debating, she actually went to Harvard for a debate and she fell in love. And so that inspired her, sparked a desire in her to go to Harvard. So she talked to her high school counselor about attending Harvard. And this is what the counselor said. Well, she didn't say it. The guidance counselor warned the judge that she should not set her sights so high. So she told the judge Jackson. I'm gonna just call her Judge Jackson because Ketanji Brown Jackson. That's a mouthful. Even though I love your name, Judge Ketanji. But her guidance counselor told her not to set her sights so high. When I was in school, my guidance counselor was helping me with scholarships, helping me to get to college. She did not discourage me at all. Matter of fact, my guidance counselor told me to apply for a scholarship that I didn't qualify for. I applied for a scholarship. She said, well, I have this scholarship here. She said, well, she read the qualification. She said, you don't qualify for it. She said, but go ahead and apply anyway. And because now I don't know if my guidance counselor only gave me that scholarship. I don't know. But well, that part don't matter. But I applied. She helped me apply. And I was the only one that applied for that scholarship and I got it. I thank you, guidance counselor, for helping me out with that scholarship. Not to set her sight so high. So what did Judge Jackson do? She went to Harvard. She graduated magna cum laude from Harvard University, and then she attended the law school, Harvard Law School, where she graduated cum laude. She was also editor of the Harvard Law Review, which is their like student-based law journal. So let me tell you a little bit more about Judge Jackson. She was confirmed with bipartisan support to the U.S. Court of Appeals. Well, before I backtrack, President Obama nominated Judge Jackson to be a district court judge for the United States District Court for the District of Columbia in 2012. She was confirmed by bipartisan support in 2013. That means the Republicans and the Democrats. That means the Republicans and the Democrats confirm her. So Republicans and Democrats, y'all can work together when you want to. So they confirmed Judge Ketanji Brown in 2013. Also, Judge Jackson was one of President Biden's first judicial nominees. She was confirmed with bipartisan support again. Both Republicans and Democrats supported her to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit in 2021. So, she serves as a judge on the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia currently. And of course, we're hoping that will change because she'll become a justice. She also served as vice chair of the U.S. Sentencing Committee. She was a public defender. She was a Supreme Court clerk under Justice Breyer. So look, Judge Jackson served as Justice Breyer, replacing his law clerk, where she learned how important it is for a Supreme Court justice to build consensus and speak to a mainstream understanding. That's a quote from Congress.gov as it talks about Ketanji Brown Jackson. All right. So she clerked for Justice Breyer. So she saw firsthand what it was like in the life of a justice. Also, that's all I want to say about her. She served in the U.S. Army. Oh, never mind. That's her brother. Okay. I got information about her family a little bit, but this is talking about her brother. So that's all I want to say about Justice Ketanji Brown. She did not serve in the Army. That was her brother. But she, did all those Supreme Court clerk, public defender, U.S. Sentencing Committee, circuit court judge for the District of Columbia. So she has a extensive background in what I believe means to critically and equitably think about the law, interpret the law, and help the other justices on the Supreme Court to make decisions for the good of our country. Now, the Supreme Court justice has not always made decisions for the good of the country. That's a whole nother conversation, a whole nother sip and say, I might need some wine for that conversation. But I believe that she will be a good addition to the Supreme Court justice, just in what I read about her. So I just gave you highlights of what she's done in her career. Do some research for yourself. I'll put her link from Congress.gov and read about her for yourself. But I believe that she'll make a good addition to the Supreme Court. As a judge, as a person who knows the law, but also as a Black woman. All right. So let me give you a little bit about her family. She is married to Patrick Jackson, who is a surgeon and physician. He also went to Harvard, which is where they met. His family has a history of going to Harvard, or history of Harvard grads, where she was discouraged from going to Harvard, but they met at Harvard, liked each other, and they got married. His expertise lies in pancreatic surgery, surgical oncology, and minimally invasive surgery. All right. They have two daughters, Talia or Talea. I'm not quite sure if I'm pronouncing your name right, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. Miss Talia or Talea and Layla. All right, those are their two daughters. So I don't know if you all remember, I don't know what year it was when Justice Antonin Scalia passed away, but he passed away under President Obama's term. And so when this Justice Scalia passed away, Judge Jackson's daughter, Layla, wrote a letter to President Obama recommending her mom to take the place of this justice who passed away. Isn't that amazing? And now she's been nominated by President Biden to serve on the Supreme Court. And so again, I think she would make, just from what the little that I've read, I have not done extensive research about Judge Ketanji Jackson Brown's history as a judge, as a lawyer, and as a judge, but I will do some more research about it. She's going to be going through her congressional hearings. If she has, I don't think she started already. I don't think it starts till next week, where she has to go go before Congress so they get her, ask her some questions, and determine if she's right, if she is the right fit. But because the Republicans and Democrats have already confirmed her for judgeship, I don't see where it's going to be a huge problem in her receiving her confirmation to the Supreme Court. So anyway, Justice Jackson has a younger brother who served in the military. He also served as a police officer before going to law school himself. One of her uncles was a police chief in Miami in the 90s. Another of her uncles, President Biden recommended her, which he did so on February 25th, 2022. He nominated her, and she actually did a press conference. And I do remember her brother and then her uncle. And she also mentioned this uncle that actually served time. He was serving a life sentence in jail. His sentence has since been commuted, but she did mention that he involved in a drug-related incident, and because he had 3 strikes, he was serving a life sentence. So I wrote down the year. Yeah, it was in 2016 that his sentence was completed. Judge Brown Jackson did not help in this process at all. He did recommend a law firm to her uncle that could, help him, but she did not get involved with the case at all. So she did talk about him when she accepted the nomination by President Biden. And so I appreciated her sharing her family history straight up, because if she hadn't, somebody would have come like, you had an uncle in jail, right? Like, why didn't you tell anybody? But again, she was very upfront about that. As I was her, I really appreciated her transparency with her family, because regardless of your status, whether you're a judge or a lawyer or a doctor or a police officer or a preacher, sometimes we have family members who have made decisions that have led to jail time, and other things. And so, we still love our family, regardless of what they find themselves in, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We love our family. So I appreciated her, sharing that part of her family history. So that's Judge Kentanji Brown. You all, like I said, go ahead, do some research for yourself about her. I remember at our last family check-in in February, I asked my family what they thought about President Biden's nomination. And at that time, I don't think any of us had a lot of information about Judge Jackson, but our consensus was, or some of the family members said, as long as a judge is a good judge, like a judge that will do the job that that the Constitution says that they should do, then we're good. You know, whether it's a Black woman, a white woman, a Black man, a white man, as long as a person is doing the job. I agree with that, but I'm gonna just say I'm glad it's a Black woman, and I'm gonna just leave that there. I'm gonna leave that there. Hallelujah. And so I want to share just one more thing with you. I'm gonna take y'all. Go and take y'all a sip. I'm gonna take a sip. I want to leave just with you before we go our separate ways for the evening. I think I might leave two things with you, but this is like a history thing. As you all know, March is Women's History Month. Shout out to all the women making history. Hey, how y'all doing? So look, it's Women's History Month. So Women's History Month, actually very similar to Black History Month, it began as a week. Black History Month began as Negro History Week, and with Carter G. Woodson. So Women's History Month began as a local celebration in Santa Rosa, California, as Women's History Week. It was celebrated initially in 1978. The organizers selected the week of March 8th to correspond with International Women's Day. So March 8th has been International Women's Day since 1911. I found that amazing. I didn't know that International Women's Day has been celebrated for that long, but 1911, y'all, we've been celebrating Women's International Day on March 8th. And so shout out and other family who shouted us out on Women's International Day. And so, yes, so that was 1911, March 8th. In 1980, a group of women and historians got together. They were like, we need to expand this Women's History Week to a month. And so they lobbied for recognition. And in February 1980, President Jimmy Carter issued the first presidential proclamation declaring the week of March 8th, 1980 as National Women's History Week. Okay, so that was the week. So I was thinking, okay, I didn't know, but in March 8th, 1980, National Women's History Week. So if you go to women's.org, womenshistory.org, you can get more information about how this turned into Women's History Month. I thought I had the information, but I didn't type the rest of it in. So y'all forgive me for that. Go to Women's History Week. Look, get my words together. I have not been able to talk right tonight. Womenshistory.org to get more information. But I celebrate all of the women in my life, especially the women in my family. We are not nationally known and internationally known women history makers, but we are known by our family, we are known by our community, we are known by our church to be women of integrity, to be women of the faith. I celebrate every woman in the Humphrey family. Most of the women in the Humphrey family were or are single parents, you know, and not to disparage us, but I'm saying that because the women in my family took care of their children. They raised their children. They are still raising their children, take care of their children. So I celebrate every woman in my family. You have done a great job raising your children. You are continuing to do a great job raising your children. I speak encouragement to you where you might feel discouraged. I speak life to you where you might be feeling down or dead. I speak, you know, inspiration to you where you might be in a stagnant situation. You did it. Way to go. You are beautiful. You are wonderful. You are unique. You are worthy. You are creative. You are intelligent. You are beautiful. You are blessed. I say to the women in the Humphrey family, shout out to you in celebration of Women's History Month. You may not have made national or international history, but you have made history as taking care of your family, as being awesome mothers to your children. You may not have done everything right. You may not have gotten it right. My mama might have spanked me when I didn't need a spanking, praise God. I'm gonna pay for that comment. But she raised me. I never went hungry. I never was on the street. I always had food. I always had clothes. I was always taken care of. Always had shelter. So shout out to the women in the Humphrey family. A special shout out to my mom for taking care of me and for taking care of my siblings, for loving us, for again clothing us, providing food for us, shelter for us, still, being that listening ear when we need that. So celebration to my mom during this Women's History Month, celebration to my aunts, Women's History Month, celebration to my sister during this Women's History Month, celebration to all my cousins during this Women's History Month. I want to call out everybody's name, but I didn't get permission to do that ahead of time. So I want to be respectful to everybody's privacy so you know who you are. Humphrey women, celebration to you. I appreciate you. I celebrate you and I love you during this Women's History Month. So y'all look, some love, share some encouragement, share some inspiration to the women in your life, to the women in your community. Even give a shout out to a woman at the grocery store. Y'all might be standing in line, waiting to check out your groceries. Turn around and say, woman, you're doing a great job. I don't know you, but I know you're doing a great job. I know you're doing well. Hang in there. Don't give up. Stay in the fight. Offer some words of life and encouragement to the women in your life and even to the women that you don't know. And I know I gave a shout out to the women of the Humphrey family, but I'll give a shout out to you too, woman. You are doing it. You are worthy. You are enough. You have what it takes to be successful. You have what it takes to start a business, to write a book, to do whatever it is you want to. It's like Prego. It's in there. It's in you to do what you have been put on this earth to do. It is in you to fulfill your destiny. So go forth, woman, during this Women's History Celebration Month and beyond. Go forth, woman. You are worthy and you are enough. I have this children's book, you all, that I have read to my children. It features a young Black girl on the front, and the title of the book is I Am Enough. You are enough. Don't let anybody degrade you. Don't let anyone diminish you. Don't let anyone tell you that you're nothing, that you are no good. You are enough in your skin, just as you are in your brown skin, in your peach skin, in your light tan skin, in your dark ivory skin. You are enough. I didn't want to say ivory, I want to say onyx. In your dark onyx skin, you are enough. You are enough. You are worthy. You are enough. All right. All right. So that's all that I have for Sip and Say with Stephanie. Thank you all so much for joining me. Look, y'all. I promise you this is going to be the last thing I'm going to say. I did a new introduction for the Stephanie Humphrey channel. It's a song. I actually wrote it last Thursday after Bible study. Was it last? It was either the first Thursday or this past Thursday. I can't remember which one. But I finished Bible study and I was just sitting here at the table and I was like, I've been thinking about, I need a video because the inaugural video was still on from 2020. So I was like, it's been over a year, should have already done it. But, I was like, I want something new so that when people click on the channel, they can actually hear a welcome video and not the first Sip and Say what's happening. So I was sitting here, I was like, I'm gonna write a song. I was like, I'm gonna write a song. So I got this thing in the Stephanie Humphrey channel second. So I wrote a song. It's absolutely no music because I don't play an instrument. I did try to play the guitar one time. It didn't pan out well. So I don't play an instrument. So I'm snapping to the song. I want to. I don't want to, plus I'm getting a little stuffy here, so I need to get off of this broadcast, right? And so I wrote a song. You listen to it, go to the Stephanie Humphrey channel, which you're there now, but go to it and click on the introductory video. I think it says welcome. Listen to the song and y'all tell me what you think. What do you think about the song? I love it. Like I was in here singing it and I was jamming, y'all. Like, welcome to the Stephanie Humphrey channel, the Stephanie Humphrey channel. So I was jamming and I was, I wrote the first verse fine. And then when I got to the Sip and Say, I wrote the Bible, study verse fine. When I got to the Sip and Say with Stephanie, I was like, I ain't too much rhyme with Stephanie, like how I'm gonna work this out. So the Lord gave me some words of the song. Don't nobody try to record my copyrighted by me, so don't try to record my song, y'all. So I love singing, y'all. Like I can come up with a song in a minute. Like I will, because it's in me. It's like prego. Like I just said, it's prego. It's in me. I'm a songwriter. Yes, that's what I don't think I've ever called myself a songwriter before, but I'm a songwriter. Yes, I am. If y'all want a song written, to all the movie people, all the entertainment industry, the TV, y'all want a song written, let me know. Give me the topic, and I promise you, I will write it. You can give me any topic, and I will write you a song about it. Okay, that's all I have to say. I think. Let me check the chat box before I go. It was last Thursday. Oh, my aunt helped me out. It was last Thursday. I thought it was. I just can't remember. So it was last Thursday that I read it. So did y'all like it? Did you hear it? You could, like, if you don't like it, I'm okay with that. Like, it will not diminish me at all for you to be like, Stephanie, that song is whack. It will not hurt my feelings at all. It will not diminish me. It will not offend me at all because I like the song, and that's all that matters because it's the Stephanie Humphrey channel. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Look, let me take one more step. All right, so y'all check out the song. You know what, y'all? I might, on a sip and say, oh, I got an idea. I don't know if I'm gonna do it or not, but I might do a singing something for one of my sip and saves with Stephanie. Like maybe have you, oh, let me think about it, and then I'll let y'all know I have an idea. So we'll see what happens. So I promise you all, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for Sip and Say with Stephanie. I look forward to engaging with you next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. where we'll discuss some news. I may have a few history facts about some other women that I admire or that have helped me, just watching their journey have helped me in my life. Okay, so y'all take care, have a good weekend, and be blessed. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.